everyone, welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training at fmtraining.tv. I'm going to make Nick a little smaller for the moment. If you go to fmtraining.tv, hit the live button right there. You can see the next 6 days of broadcasting excellence. We are very excited to be here with Nick for the next 3 days. He's going to cover some awesome action. I'm on like hour 4, 3 or 4 already today of doing live streams, recordings and editing and stuff like that. I've got my head down working on the curriculum, but we're almost done with that part of the video cleanup. We're trying to make couple things. We're making great training curriculum for people to train other people in the FileMaker platform is one thing we're doing. The other thing is making sure we have videos to kind of go along with it. But we're updating the curriculum so when we do this again next year, whenever we do that, that it will be that much better is the idea. So this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Nick Hunter here, 1 o'clock Pacific time. All right, so I'm going to transfer command to Nick. All right, so Nick, what are you doing today? I'm going to get rid of my video. What are we doing today, and why should we care?
Today we're going to talk about relookup, lookup, and auto entry. What the difference between the two? That today's topic. And then after that, we switch to auto entry manipulation and how they work. Okay.
I know that you're really big on auto enter. Auto enter. In fact, people ask me about this all the time. Should I use a calculation or should I use an auto enter?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about that too. So we're going to talk about that too. Today we're going to do. We're going to talk about
3 days of this for 3 days. Next 3 days,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. But the calculation fields. I don't want that to be a calculation field webinar. It's an auto entry. Okay. So and the difference between the lookup, but the calculation, it's a different topic. Okay. So I'm going to explain why, and why they're there, why we shouldn't care and why we shouldn't care, why we should and shouldn't care. So I'm going to talk about this so we can, that's the topic of today. And tomorrow we switch to auto entry and play a little bit with this and how great they are and how they can save your bet many times. So yeah, I'm big on auto entry calculation because they are the solution. They are the only calculation that works well.
Okay,
so
good. Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to share screen. Let's talk about the calculation. So here we have in the managed database, we have our field. So we can do a calculation field, right? So and in the calculation fields, then you can edit the calc you want, right? So get current date plus 10, for example. You have a calculation. You define what is the result of your calc. What is the result? The result on this is dates, right? And then you have the storage option where is all the topic about this, right? So you can not share, not store anything, not indexing, all of this. I'm going to come back on this, but I'm going to tell you why those calculation fields are here. They're here from the time where FileMaker were a flat file living in your hard drive. That was the FileMaker, the first FileMaker. You can use those calculations without any problems. If you are in that situation, if you are in my situation that I'm now, it's a flat file. So you have, it's a flat file, and you have, and the file is living in my hard drive. So it's not shared on the server. It's not shared on the server on the cloud. It's living in my hard drive, which is a SSD. So it's very fast. So I don't have any problem with this. I can use calculation in that condition. But when you start having your file shared on in-premises server, right, you start having problem in performance when you use calculation And if you go on server in the cloud, then you get even more problems, okay, or in performance. And then when you have the file is shared with 2 people, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, 50 people, then you increase your problems on performance. And then when you have 100 records, 1,000 records, 1 million records, you increase the performance problems. So if you have 50 people in a file in the cloud with millions of records, calculation as this, as shown here, this, you can even ask FileMaker to remove that function because you will never use that. I mean, you can, but you will rarely use this here, right? Rarely use it. So for that, we have the auto entry calculation, right? So, and then I'm going to come a little bit later. Now I want to talk about the lookup, right? So what is a lookup? So here I have a situation where I have a contacts table and a city table, okay? So for each contact, for each record in contact, I have a record in city, right? Here. So I have Nick Hunter, I have the same record here, pretty much, that I have here. That's 2 tables, right? But here I have the city. So let's say I'm in Corfu right now. You are in where are you in Fairfield? Oh, you might be gone. Okay, Fairfield. And Scott is in Texas. I don't know. I don't remember where is. I don't know, Houston. Don't know if he's in Texas. Oh, he's in El Paso, something like that, El Paso. Jacob is in Los Osos. And Christian Olsen is, I don't know, in Paris. Is visiting Paris. Okay. So I put people here. So, but you see here, I have Nick Hunter, but here I have Corfu, right? So now I have in city, I have this field here, but I want to have the city here in that table as well. So I want the same field here in cities and here. And what I want when there's a contact matching a record in city, right? I want to get the city. That means when I have a record matching, when I have a record here matching this, I want whatever here in this, based on the last name and first name and last name. First name, last name, right? They are the keys in my relationship. First name equal first name, last name equal last name. When I have this, when this is met, this condition is met, I want the city to be there, right? So let's try. So let's do a try here, okay? So let me delete that record here and create a new one, right? And I must show the city field. Okay. So here I have Nick Hunter Corfu. If I type Nick Hunter, boom, it comes Corfu. If I type Rick Carlton Fairfield. So that means when this condition here, the last name, first name, last name match, first name, last name here, whatever here comes here. So if I go to the Rick, see here, it match, right? So that is the lookup. This is what happened when you do this, when you do a lookup, looked up value. That means from this table, I want to go to that related table, right? So starting with this table, look up from the related table cities. I want the city, right? So now, when something, let's say now I'm putting something that doesn't exist. I'm putting, I don't know, or give me a name, Ken Tully, Ken. Okay. If I'm doing this, what happened? Nothing. It keeps her field. It keeps the last word that was there, the last data that was there. So if it's empty and I do again Ken Chili, nothing happened. If I have something here, if I do Ken Chili, nothing happened. If I put something that exists, that will be replaced. Boom. Why? Because it takes precedence. But if something doesn't match, I don't care. It doesn't come. It doesn't change. If I put, you understand? It stay like this. Why? Because we have options here. Those. If no exact match, then do not copy. Or copy the lowest, the next lower value, or the next higher value. So what happened when you do this? But let's say here I'm saying copy the next lower value, okay? So if I do this, it takes the first that it came here. That means Corfu, right? That the lowest, right? The lowest value, because that's the first. If I say if it doesn't exist, the next higher value, right? It takes per field because that's the last one. Or it's Paris, but it's the next one. Yeah, the next one, this one, right? So those options here are rarely used because also they are from the past. They are from the prehistoric time of FileMaker, and they never remove them. Sometimes they can be useful. Personally, I never use that. Raise your hand if you use one of those. But, what I do use is this one, because you can personalize what you want to say. If it doesn't match, you can say something like this, right? But if it doesn't match, unknown, right? It's unknown. It doesn't match, right? Or you can say no match, right? You can say something like this. If it matches, boom. If it doesn't match, no match. Something else you can do is to say nothing. You put nothing here, okay? So here, if you put nothing, this is what happened. Nothing, right? So this is the confusion you have with this relookup. That means when you put this, use blank, is blank. He use nothing. That means he replace something by nothing. That means it doesn't replace. Why? Because you have this on. Don't copy contents if empty, right? So if you remove this, right, and you use this, then if it doesn't match, it blanks it. And that's what you want to use most of the time. You want that when something exists, you want the thing to come, but if it doesn't exist, you want the thing to go, to blank. because otherwise you can have a big trouble, right? That means you can have completely unsynchronized data, right? You know what I mean? So let's say I replace, that let's say I'm putting here, let's say I'm putting Nick Hunter here, and I said this. Do not copy it, boom, boom. Okay. And if I have this guy, and then suddenly I said, yeah, I'm changing that record. Let's say this is no longer Nick Hunter, it's I don't know, it's Kentuli. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but Nick Hunter was in Corfu, but Kentuli, I don't know. But now my record says is in Corfu. So you need to manually say, no, I remove this. No, what you want this to be like this, right? You get the thing, but you have this option here. Don't you uncheck this and check this with blank. And then you say, Kentuli. See, it's already blanked. You say Kentuli blank, city blank. Or you can say unknown, or you can say whatever you want, right? So this is the relookup. So if you have question about the lookup so far?
No questions really. I've used the lookup options for getting the unit price based on the quantity purchased.
Huh. Yeah, that the most or the lowest price or the lowest quantity. Yeah, this is the most used case scenario. So it can be useful, but it's not the most used feature in that dialogue, right? Let's say. So I wanted to show you a little bit how relookup works. Now, what is the difference between so how lookup works when you do something? Let's say I'm creating here, right? I'm creating here Kentuli. So now Kentuli is an Albuquerque in the city. I add the city for Kentuli, but here is not there. Here is not, right? Right? It's not. So what can I do to get this record here in here, right? Well, I can select one of the fields. So you go inside one of the fields that is involved in the relationship. This is a relationship, right? That get me the city from here to here, right? That's the relationship. So I'm selecting one of those and I go to records and I say relookup field contents. But here what happened? So if I do this, he said, in the 5 records that you are in browsing, copy new values for every field that has a lookup based on this field, first name, okay? So that means he's going to do that not only on Kentuli, but he's going to do that on all the 5 records. So demonstration. Here I have nothing in city, right? But if I go there and I say relookup and I say okay, I get the city on the 5. Yeah, but that's the problem on the lookup, because I didn't want to do that on the 5 records. I want to do that on 1 record, not on all of them, right? Because let's say you have 1 million records and you do a relookup on 1 million records, you can go have dinner outside, have a drink afterwards, and have some fun with who you want and come back. right? And it might not be finished. So that's the problem you have when you have the relookup. So if I wanted to do the relookup here on one record only, I will have to select that record. So only one record, right? Only one record. So let's show you. So I'm blanking this. So all of them are blanked, okay? So I select here, I said relookup, he said, oh, okay. In the one records, they didn't even have the correction here. I never saw that. In the one record that you are browsing, okay, copy new value. So now I'm going to do the relookup on that record. And the proof is that the other four are untouched because I was only on one record. So if you want to look up on one record, right, that's the technique. You have another technique if you want to update, if you want to look up the data from here to here, using that technique, you can use the tickle. So what the tickle technique? Tickled, tickle? Like, You select one of those keys, you select the content, you copy, you paste, and you validate. That's a tickle, right? So pretty much, if you want to do a tickle, you set a field of one of those keys by itself. That's a tickle. Demonstration. So I'm here, and I want to do the tickle. Boom. Here, tickle. Here, tickle. Here, tickle. By the same token, you can do a lookup, like, or you can do a lookup like this, a relookup, or you can, do a replace of the fields by itself. So you do a replace on all records of one of the fields involved in the relationship by itself. So you replace it by itself. That will do the tickle on the 5 records, right? So you have the relookup, you have the tickle, and you have the replace tickle. The replace is on tickle. The replace that do the tickle on all the records that you are in on your found set. That the problem is the relookup. Okay, it's limited, right, to take data from one table to another. That's all what that does. Nothing else. I have no other thing that I can do with this. So now I can do the same. So do you have any question on lookup, relookup?
Not at the moment, so.
So pretty much that's it. That's it. There's nothing major, right, on relookup. Now, I want to show you the power of the auto entry calculation. But for now, I'm going to show you the auto entry calculation on the basic way. Okay. Okay, so the auto entry calculation is this. When I want, for example, full name, right? What the full name it's the first and the last name in one unique field. Okay? I'm enter Nick here, Hunter here, and I want Nick Hunter here. So far, so good. To do that, we have the auto entry calculation, the calculated value. That's not the lookup involved here, right? But now I'm going to show you the auto entry calculation. So the auto entry calculation is this. So let's do this. So you have the dirty way, right? Or the right way. But let's do that. Let's do the right way. Do the substitute on the list of the first name and the last name, and you replace the Claris return by a space. So you get a list of this, right? So how this works? How it works, this, just a learning, right? Okay, so you do this, right? So why we do this? So this will take you this, and I'm replacing the Claris return that goes the list, this and this in the list with the Claris return, and I replace the Claris return by the blank. So why I'm doing this? Well, just for fun, is because if I have, so let's put the field here, that full name here. Let's say I don't have the first name here, the last name here. I don't have a blank. If I don't have the first name and I have only the last name, I don't have a blank. If you do the dirty way, like this, if I do this, I have a blank here. And if I do this, I have a blank here. At the end, is there. See the blank? Okay. So with this technique here, you don't have a blank. That's why I use that. Okay, that was just for my example. So now, boom. I have an auto entry calculation that says, do something, evaluate the calculation when one of those fields are changed. If I change here, that will re-evaluate the calculation. If I change this, that will re-evaluate as well. In the auto entry calculation, if one of those two fields is changed, right, that will re-evaluate the calculation. If I change one of those two, this will be re-evaluated automatically, auto enter, okay? If one of those two, correct, that will be evaluated. So now, questions so far?
What about adding a middle name? Question mark.
The same way. That's the beauty of this. Let's say. I know that would be. I have a middle name here, right? So I added the middle name in the first, middle, last. Okay. So let's do this. Middle name. Okay. Okay, so let's put all my names. If I remove the middle name, I don't have the blank. I have one blank. If I put back the middle name, I have the middle name perfect. If I remove the last name, it's still perfect. No blank, no blank. If I have only one of those, even if I have only the middle name, it works perfectly. And you can add this as much, you can have 10, 15, whatever. It's perfect for addresses. It's perfect. This technique of the substitute is super perfect because you don't have to, to say if it's the middle name empty and, all this craziness that sometimes I'm seeing about this technique here, right? And then you have another good technique, let's say you have the full name reversed. So what is a full name reversed? So it's the same as a full name, but I want like this. Last, I don't want that. First, and here is not a blank, it's comma blank. So why I'm doing this? Because now I have this. Full name reversed. Nick Hunter. So it's Hunter, comma, space Nick. It works also for this type of stuff that you can add a separator in the thing, right? And I could have done this, right? But I don't want to spend too much time on this. But I could have said Hunter Mochiato / comma Nick. I could have done that very easily, but I don't want to. At the end, if you want, I can play with this, right? So you see the power of this stuff. Okay, don't worry, you're going to get the file. So if you don't have any question, I can continue.
We have two questions. To copy the
Okay.
price of an item from inventory table, but don't want the price to change even if the inventory price changes, should I use lookup?
It's dangerous, right? That's why the auto entry calculation is better. I'm going to come on this. I'm going to come on this. It's dangerous. So when you do this, because you might need a relookup for something else, right? And you might do unknowingly a relookup and then screw up your totals, without knowing it. And it's hard to control. It's hard to control the lookup. It's hard. You have no control. There's no way to say, I don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? You have no control on blocking this to happen. If you set a lookup, let's say you have many other fields based on first name, last name on the lookup, right? Let's say you have 15 other fields, but one or two of them, you don't want them to be relooked up. If you do a lookup, it will do, if you do this here, it will do for all the fields with the lookup on that relationship. I mean, on that key is even worse. It's not only if you have other relations, imagine that you have many relationship using first name, for example. If you do a lookup, it will do, and you do the relookup on the first name, all of those relationships will be relooked up as well. So imagine on the first, you screw up your data, and secondly, imagine the performance. You know what I mean? The performance is dead. It's a dead body. Your file is a dead body, right? So that's why the auto entry calculation is way better for that. So I want to finish the demo and then I switch to the related data. For now, I was just playing with the auto entry calculation with the local data. I wasn't local. I mean the data from the same table.
Yes, we do have
Okay.
two questions before you move on, though.
Okay, let's go.
The word auto enter has always made me think that this is. Let me restart this. The word auto enter has always made me think that this is only executed on initial entry. So what
That's
Nick
why,
is saying is it
yeah.
executes when any of the field and the calculations change.
Yeah, that's why it's my, okay. FileMaker, this evolved in the history of FileMakers. FileMaker is a dinosaur. FileMaker is one of the oldest software still alive in computer. Do you realize this? Who is still there at that? Who was there at that time? AutoCAD, Claris CAD, even Claris. MacDraw, MacPaint was there. MacWrite was there. FileMaker was there in 1984. FileMaker was there. MacDraw, MacPaint, Excel, Word, right? But from the living remaining entities from that era, there's Word, Excel, and FileMaker, pretty much in 1984, right? So FileMaker is a dinosaur, and they kept everything from day one. Can you imagine this? Everything is there since day one. When they put something on day one, it's still there in FileMaker 20. Imagine this. But it has evolved. It has evolved, and it has new functionality, new way to behave, but it's still there, right? So here, that's why we say auto entry. So sometimes we do auto enter calculation, but here they said calculated value on auto enter. Okay. See, auto enter is when you enter a value. It's not when you know what I mean? It should be auto editing, auto. Yeah, I understand the problem they had here. Auto enter, validation, storage, and this is for Japanese. So auto enter, that means auto entry of data, not new record. Auto entry. I had preferred the auto entry instead of auto enter. That is their way to call that, right? But it's an auto enter. That, yes, is true. The creation dates come at creation. But if you follow your logic, who asked me this?
The question is from Dean Bedford.
Okay, Dean. If your statement was true, I mean, we have the auto enter modification dates. So it's not at creation. All of those are not at creation. Some are only at creation. Of course, the creation date or the creation time, that is at creation. That is at modification. That is at creation, right? On creation, on commit. So it can be, you can be on creation and on commit. This obviously is on creation, right? This is on creation. This is on creation and on modification on one of the field involved. So so we can do the list here, right? This is on creation. This is on modification. This is on creation. But on creation immediately, they should have said serial number on creation, serial number immediately, or on commit. They should have say something like this. Value from the next record on creation, data, whatever, on creation, right? And auto and calculated value. Now, what will get your brain exploding is some are mixable and some are not. See, I can mix those two, but I cannot mix those two. I can do this, but this will go away. This will go away with this. This will go away with this. Some are not mixable, but I can have a serial number and for example, I can have the creation date and a calculated value as well. Both I can have, but I cannot have a calculated value and a lookup, right? I can't. You know, I can't do that. If I have a calculated value, the lookup goes away. You cannot have both, but here I cannot have both. I can have on creation date, and then I can have a calculated value that will get changed, not on creation, because on creation, this will take precedence, but on auto enter, when you enter a value somewhere, that will evaluate. So this is not on creation only, it's on creation, on modification, and on editing, on commits, right? And on validation also, because you can prohibit modification during the data, you know. So it's this. I understand your confusion, but now I hope I, explain this. That this, let's remove this. The auto entry calculated value that we call auto enter calculation, right? It will be reevaluated on creation, yes, but also on modification if you modify one of those fields. It will re-trigger. Understand? So next question.
A follow-up to that question is, on auto-enter calculated values, what does the do not replace existing value of field mean?
That where I'm going, okay, good transition, thank you. No, good transition, because that's where my next topic, what that do, you remember I don't remember who asked me that it doesn't want to replace the data that they are, even if they changed, right? Okay, so I have something here. So let's, in the full name, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put this: do not replace existing value of field, if any. Right? So let's say I have nothing, right? And I put Nick Hunter. Boom. I had nothing. So, right? He removed, he did the thing. But what happened now, if I say Rick Carlton, he didn't change this. Why? Because I have something. This is what says this: do not replace something. Do not do this. Pretty much, do not evaluate the calculation if something is in the field. That's what it means. If I have something here, don't evaluate. If it not change, doesn't change. Here change, because I have replaces existing value. Here I don't have, because I click this. Here I didn't click this. So this here will get changed all the time. Okay? This will get changed all the time, but this not. Until I blanket, and then, yes. But if I go back again now, it will never get changed. So that's what you want when you want to save something there. Sometimes you want to save, you say, okay, I get a data, I don't want, at any case, I want to be able to change that by any mistake, right? You want the thing to come one. And if you want to force that to happen, right? Then blanket. and you do a tickle. Because the tickle technique works for that too. That means if you replace the field, if I cut Nick and I paste Nick again and I commit the record, boom, this is the tickle. You set the field by itself. It works also on the auto entry calculation, right? So, now, if we don't have any other question,
Nope, we've got another one. So
okay, we have one. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Where would you put a proper to fix misentered type? On the individual fields or the AutoCalc fields?
You need to, okay, repeat the question, and if I don't understand, they needs to restate or
rephrase.
yeah,
Where would you put a proper to fix misentered typing?
A proper.
Yeah.
A proper. Oh, yeah, on the auto entry calculation. I will show you this. Let's say you want the first name on itself. And that's why God invented this. The self function. This is where the self function is applied. I want to do the proper on whatever I'm going to enter in that field. Right? So I'm going to put the proper on last name as well. Okay. So I don't care about, I'm typing like this. Boom. Didn't work. Oh, because I didn't. Okay, yeah. So here we need to, because I had something there. So I replaced something by something. So it wasn't blank. So you need to remove this to work. The do not replace. You want to replace, of course, because otherwise it doesn't work. So Nick, boom. Hunter, boom. Correct? So you put on the auto entry calculation, right? And you use the self function. Because the advantage of the self function, if I want to put that, I copy that calculation, I copy it, right? And I paste it here on middle name as is, it works. Remove this. So if I say Hunter, I put boom. Correct? Is that reply to the answer the question?
Ken, let us know if that answers the question. So, yep, Ken says it does in fact answer the question. So,
okay. Do we have another one?
No, I think you're good.
Okay, now we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Now I want to use that because all of this was super cool because that's why all of this was on local data. What do we call local data? We call local data that are in the same table. They're local. Okay, they're next to each other. They're on the same table. But now I want to replace city. I'm going to remove the lookup, and I want to get the city on the other table. Okay. So I say Nick Hunter, and nothing happened. Nothing. So that's why, right? That's why you guys doesn't like the auto entry calculation. It's because if you have any related field involved, nothing happened. Nothing. And you can do whatever you want. It will never happen. Even though it's there. I mean, it's there. If I go to the relationship for Nick and I go to my city and oh no, hold on. It's because, yeah, but it won't happen either. Yeah, it happened. Okay, yeah, okay, sorry. Sorry for that. So yeah, it happened. So sorry, I got confused. That's another my next step we won't work. So here, right? I did that and it works. As is, it works. That means I can, as a relookup, okay, as a relookup, I can get the city to work, right? So I have here, sorry for my confusion. I put the city from the relationship, right? And if I change to Rick, it's because the last name here, Rick Carlton Fairfield, right? It changed it. If I do Nick Hunter, boom, it comes, it follows. Of course, if I said do not replace, if it's blank, and I put Rick, spell it right, it comes. But if now that I have something, I put something here, it doesn't change because I had something. So now you have a control, right? So you have a control on this, right? So now, before we go, right, I want to show you something about no, because it's okay. It's a time. I don't want to go there. I'm done. So it's good to stop right now. So you saw that I can get the same, right, using an auto entry calculation with the advantage from the lookup to be able to disengage if there's something that here I don't. Here, there's no way I can stop this. Here, I can say, yeah, if I have something, do not replace. You understand? So if we don't have any question, we can go, and tomorrow
we do have a question, which I'll do as
yes.
the last question before
yes.
we call it.
No.
I use this technique instead of lookup. Are there any potential problems with this?
No, I'm using that too. I mean, okay, so here when I'm using lookup and when I don't use lookup, I'm using lookup for straightforward things. Like in that case here for the city, I will use lookup because it's straightforward. I want that field, boom. So I know. Also, I'm using lookup when I'm sure that I have only one record matching here. So how you can be sure that you have one record matching? Most of the time, it's because you have a UUID matching another UUID, and you know that's unique, and So you understand? But let's say I have two unique enter, and one is in Athens. So how you do that here? I have two unique enter, two cities, right? And here, so if I say this, so let me put this back. So what will happen? If I do Nick Hunter again, it comes Corfu. Yeah, but I have Athens as well. I have Corfu and Athens. I have two. With the auto entry calculation, it's what I want to just demonstrate tomorrow, but I will do it tomorrow again. I can do this. I'm on the list of what's over there, right? So now, two cities. I have them. You understand? So let's say you have two Rick Carlton, one Fairfield and another one Santa Clara, which is most of the time, right? So I have two Rick Carlton. So if I'm going to Rick here, I don't have Rick. Oh, I must have exploded it. So new record. So I say Rick Carlton. Boom. 2 cities. This is completely, strictly, absolutely impossible to do with the lookup. The lookup will take the first record in the list. That means, let's say I'm here and I want to do like a lookup, okay? This is a lookup. It takes the first. It will take the first of the two. It will take the first on this relationship, right? So it won't take two. Let's do it right quick. So I'm doing a CT lookup. Okay. This is the CT lookup. Okay. So I have the CT like this, and I have the CT looked up like this. Okay. Okay. The looked up, I have one. I have the first in the record, in the list. Right. And tomorrow we're going to work a little bit with this, but here I have the two. Right. And if I'm going there in the relationship and I change the sort in the relationship, I said, I want to sort by city descending, right? This happened. Santa Clara first and Fairfield. And here the looked up changed completely. It took the last one because I said descending, S, F, no F, S, the sorts. You understand? So now you know how you can play with this. But if you have two records, I want to know it. You understand? I want this to happen. On the looked up data, never I will get two records here. I will get the first in the relationship, the first pound. On the two, it's Fairfield. If I change again the sort order, if I remove the sort order, boom, FS, and here now I have Fairfield. So you understand why this can be dangerous. This can be dangerous. This is not enough sometimes, right? The list in the auto entry calculation is better because you get two data, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm using looked up for straightforward things. I know I have one record. I know I have, I'm doing lookup. But otherwise, 90% of the time, and I can show you tomorrow, we show you a real case scenario, right? I'm going to show you big things tomorrow, right? You will see, looked up, you will see 1, 2, 3 out of 600 fields. And you will see pretty much no calculation fields because they don't work well. They're not meant to be used that way. The looked up is not meant to do what I want to do here. Is not meant for that, right? I mean, what I want to do is not the right technique. The lookup is good when you have straightforward something you're sure that you have only one record or something like this. Otherwise, use in terms of performance, they're the same, right? On performance, they are the same, but you will see that the auto entry calculation has much more control. First, we saw that we have this control here that you don't have, this switch on off here, you don't have on the lookup first. That's the first control. And then you will see that you will have full control, totally full control on the calculation here. You have a total, completely control. And tomorrow I'm going to show. Right?
Yep, that sounds good to me. Okay, Nick, thank you very much. A lot of people are saying thank you. Awesome. This helped them a lot. So.
Okay. I'm not sending the file today. I'm sending at the end.
Yes. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You have a lovely day.
Thank you,
See
and
you all
see you
tomorrow.
you
Yep.
tomorrow. Bye.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired.
Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.